This episode is brought to you by DraftKings. This NHL season has been as predictable as a puck rolling on its edge. No one knows where it's going, but that just means there's time for your favorite team to figure things out and games left for you to get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. And if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to episode 255 of Empty Betters. I'm your host, Harrison Scholes, and I'm going to toss it across the screen to my co-host, Nick Manella. What's going on, my friend?
Dude, big hockey night. Big hockey night in the Eastern Conference. We have two of the top teams in the Metro going at it, two of the top three teams in the Atlantic going at it. Fired up to be here.
Absolutely. Recording this fine episode on Wednesday, April 2nd, right before the 7 p.m. Eastern games take off here. But I'm going to introduce my other co-host, Mac Vogel, up in Wisconsin. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, just echoing what Nick said. I'm obviously watching Caps Canes tonight, but super interested in the result of that Leafs Panthers game as well. I think that could very well determine who wins that division. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I was talking to some I don't know if you guys know this person. He's a Hurricanes fan, former sponsor of the program.
right,
One
right, right.
Martin Huff a little bit earlier in our group chat, and I was just saying like, hey, that game affects all of us.
Yeah,
Indeed, it
true.
does. Indeed, it does. We'll talk about a lot of the standings and playoff rankings, wild card spots, all that stuff later on in the episode. We're going to start with some news, some college chatter, and then towards the end, we'll touch on that. But we have to remind you all that this Sunday, what's the date this Sunday? April what?
Sixth, I believe.
April 6th, Don't Know Tavern in Baltimore, Maryland. We've done it time and time before, and we're doing it again. We're doing a watch party for the Capitals versus Islanders at Don't Know on Sunday, April 6th. It is a 12:30 p.m. puck drop, so brunch hours. Get there, be there. We'll be watching. Could be the game Ovi breaks the record or ties the record, so that's pretty cool. We'll see how the next couple games shake out against Carolina and Chicago, but that is going to be a fun time. So come have a little Sunday fun day with myself and Nick, and we
Yes.
will see you at Don't Know.
Yeah, and if you don't want to, booze that early, Don't Know's got amazing food for a bar. They are probably the most underrated food bar in Baltimore. I guess you could throw Delia Foley's in there with the wings. I can already hear the Philly idiots saying McGurk's and their cheesesteaks, but you will all make it so insufferable to go in there. I haven't been in years, but yeah, Don't Know rocks.
Their
Love that
food is
place.
top tier. I can
It
agree with
is.
that.
So we will see you all on Sunday. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mother. We'll all be there. All right. Well, we have to start the episode with the great chase. Alex Ovechkin scores number 891 against the Bruins last night on Tuesday. He is now 4 goals from the all-time NHL record. He's got what? Carolina as we're recording this, and then Chicago Friday, and then that Islanders game that we're going to do the watch party for on Sunday. So. Oh, Gretzky, he's following the man around. We just got official word.
He
He's
should be
now
there tonight.
He will be at every game until Ovechkin breaks this record, so that's pretty cool. I believe Bettman will be with him as well. Boys, like what is the feeling like? Both of you guys, he's your favorite athlete, he's your childhood athlete, and like it's finally coming down to the time where he's going to break a record that may never be broken again.
Yeah, it's crazy. I had so many people text me in the last 24 hours, since he got it to within four, asking if it's going to happen this week. And I know between now and, the time that we're going to be at Don't Know with everyone on Sunday, he's only got 3 games, but I kind of can't say no. My money's on next week, but, it's Ovi. You just never know what's going to happen with him. But I mean, this is truly incredible. I don't think you'll see a record of this significance broken in any of the four major North American sports in our lifetime.
Yeah, no, what Nick said, I think it's so surreal that it's hard to zoom out and really like see it for what it is because we're just in the thick of it right now. But I think it'll be, if he does break it this season, it'll be one of those things that it's gonna take me until like this off season to really be able to like think about it and like rewatch the highlights of like the record breaking goal and like actually kind of put it in perspective. And even then, I think it'll take years before I can fully like fathom what we're witnessing right now. But it's awesome to be along for the ride. I got to I won't get into it too much, but I got to coexist in the same within the same four walls in a nice little establishment in Minneapolis with Ovi and a lot of the other Caps last week in Minneapolis. That was awesome. So uh, great guy, great team, great atmosphere around the Capitals right now. It's a
Well
fun
said.
group to be around.
I will follow suit and say that you probably had fun. Good for you. I know that the
Sure
following
did.
week, leading up to Ryan Leonard's debut, the boys were spotted out at a college bar
It
Yep.
was at
in Boston.
Circle. Yeah,
Yes,
I have
yeah.
been there. It's a good time.
I have heard the same scouting report, and Ovi was singing to "Bands Make Her Dance" with Jacob Chicker and Leonard, who, this is public knowledge, but may not be 21 years old. It is
He's
somehow
grandfathered in, right? If you're
some.
running over guys at center ice in your NHL debut, I think you get a pass. Also, like all of his BC teammates at that game, it's like let's do the math there, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I
Is
don't
he
care, man.
20 or still 19?
He is
Couldn't
20.
tell you.
There was a comment
Mm.
that was like, "How is no one talking about the obvious part here?" And I looked it up and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah, that is pretty funny.
Yeah.
it is
It's
very
close
funny."
enough.
Yes. So, well, this might be the last episode before he breaks the record. I don't know. It depends when he breaks it, but
It is kind of crazy. It's now down to four. I feel like the last
Yeah.
time we recorded it was like 10. I know that's obviously not true, but just the way it's picked up as this season is winding down is gotten pretty
Well,
crazy.
it's to the point now where it's like I know he's unlikely to score 4 goals in a game, although he has done that before. Um, it's to the point where it could all occur in any one
That's
game.
true.
You know what I mean? Like even if it's just a hat trick to tie the record, something like that. It's to the point now where you can't really miss a game because it could all go down in one 60-minute set. So
yeah, it's gonna be a fun watch. I'm sure the boys over here will be keeping tabs. Follow us on Instagram. Got some fire graphics going up there, and I think we need to do when he breaks it like a live State of the Union from you two. That warrants
Oh, I'm gonna be a mess.
a live appearance. Maybe some
yeah,
tears.
yeah,
Oh, that's
could be.
100%. Yeah. Cloudy with a chance of tears,
Yeah.
100%
Yeah.
forecast.
And meatballs. I haven't
Yeah,
eaten dinner yet, so
Well, Nick talked about McGurk's earlier.
I
And
did.
man, there is some stuff going on in Philly right now. Since our last recording, Coach John Tortorella has been fired by the Philadelphia Flyers in shocking fashion. And man, the rumors on this one are pretty juicy, let me tell you. It came out after the firing that there was a confrontation between Flyers defenseman Cam York and Torts, in which they probably, quote, both crossed the line, which probably contributed to Tortorella's firing last Thursday. Ryan Whitney of Spit and Chicklets, per his sources, said that Torts told Cam York, "If you re-sign here, I will bury you," which is a pretty significant statement from a head coach to a player, let alone a young cornerstone player of a franchise. GM Danny Briere said it's not one thing, it's a series of things that have happened, and probably a little bit more in the last 3 weeks that have escalated since the trade deadline. So all this happens, and now ever since the firing, the Flyers are undefeated. They're 3-0, and Mitchkov has 7 points in 3 games since Torts got canned. So, what is your reaction to all of this going on in Philly?
Yeah, I'll jump off here. I've always been a Torch guy. I usually back this guy up. I'm a fan in general. Can't really stand with him on this one. He definitely crossed the line. Excuse me. But here's the thing. I think that when you're coaching this Philadelphia Flyers team, I'm sure that your frustrations have built up to a point, and so I get it. I'm not excusing what he said, and I do think that's not how you talk to a player for sure. But um, it's a little bit understandable, I think, when you zoom out and think about what he's gone through just coaching that team. I'm sure he's he's done. Like I almost see it as one of those things where he kind of like let himself go like this because he was like, fuck it, I don't even care. Like, I'm just gonna say how I really feel, and if it gets me fired, then like whatever. I don't really even fucking want to coach this team anymore. Like, that's kind of how I see it.
It's
And
basically what he said.
yeah. And with that being said, I mean, do you guys think he's done? He's 66. I could see him being done.
So the NHL, the thing they're addicted to most, more so than any other sport, you can put football, basketball, baseball, whatever, is recycling old coaches. If you need an example, just look at what the Buffalo Sabres did with Lindy Ruff. By the way, genius move, no side effects whatsoever. They're doing great, totally going to make the playoffs. But yeah, he's 100% going to get hired by someone again. And the guy's name is escaping me, and I'll have to look this up, but I did see a great article on the score, and literally the title was Maybe One Day We'll Stop Recycling These Old Coaches and We'll Get Some New Guys from college. Like my thing is like, why would you not go after Nate Lehman or David Carl? Like one of those guys like has to be better than what you've been dealing with, right?
You would think. You would think. Do I think he's done? I honestly think he might be. Now I will say, I know that there is one fan base who would love a reunion that I have received some text messages from if they miss the playoffs this year. Just gonna, you do the math. What fan base
Wow.
has Torts coached where they're not living up to the hype and all the fans just want their players to feel the wrath of Torts? You be the judge of that, listeners. But he's got to be the oldest active coach in the NHL, right? 66 years old. I'm trying to think of.
Um,
Lindy's not young.
That's true. That's true. I didn't think about that one. Who else would be up there?
Talk looks young, but he's also in his 60s, right?
I would think
Sneaky
so. I
older.
would think Berube is up there.
He's
Maybe
got to
not
be up
that
there
old,
too.
but up
Yeah,
there. Maybe, I don't know. Like, how old's Dean Evison? He's gray at least.
right.
Yeah, I don't know, but I do think that he could be done now in terms of what this
Dean's
means for
60. Okay.
in terms of what this means for Philly going forward. I mean, let's just be honest. Mitch Golf's been unlocked since he went. So, 4 goals in 3 games since Torts got fired. I don't know like what this means for Philly next season, but I couldn't help but think like how much of Morgan Frost and Joel Farabee getting traded had to do with Torts, and now here he is gone. Like
Yeah.
I don't really think the Flyers are better off from that.
No, I don't either. I think it's just been another shit year for that organization.
Yeah, which is just not surprising in the least. So
Right.
Yeah, the Cam York thing is interesting. And look, like, I know Chicklets doesn't have the best history at getting quotes exactly right, but like, if that's what was said, I mean, hey, I'm no fan of Cam York, and that goes back to when he was in college. I just, never really got it. No offense, just he played for Michigan. Sorry, that's just how it is. But um, Yeah, I agree with you, Mac, that that is absolutely crossing the line. Like that's Babcock. Let's be real.
Yes, that's kind of what I thought too. And again, I'm such a Torts guy that when I read that, I was like, no, come on, tell me that's not true because I really didn't want it to be. But again, I think I kind of get it. Not excusing it, but I understand.
Yeah.
You know what else I understand is Brad Marchand picking up plastic rats after making his Florida debut, which he did over the weekend. He had an assist on Sam Bennett's OT winner for his first point as a Florida Panther. And then, like I just said, he helped collect plastic rats off the ice after the game. This is a great Marchand quote. He said after the game, in response to picking up the raps, it was one of the things my kids said right away. They asked about the rats, which I think is just awesome. And the self-proclaimed rat is helping collect the rats.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
crazy to see like on Twitter, there's a whole contingent of Florida Panthers fans that don't understand where the rat came from and what the
Yeah,
story is behind it. So that was a
which is
fun
crazy.
education process to witness.
Are you
Yeah.
surprised by that?
Not at all, but like I mean, kind of makes sense when you understand the history of the team.
Right.
Yes, it does. Florida, scary. I mean, with Marchand in here, and once the playoffs get going, we know what he's going to be capable of. Him and Bennett, man, like they must have had so much beef, and then I read that they squashed it at Four Nations, and here they are, line mates. It's pretty wild. But things keep going good for the Panthers at the moment. Speaking of going good, Leon Draisaitl, first player to join the 50 goal club this season. He becomes the second active player to have 4+ 50 goal seasons in his career. Take a wild guess who that other player might be. Yours truly, Alex Ovechkin. Good
Harrison
guess.
Scholes?
Yes, I wish.
Nice.
Maybe back in the Rec Pee Wee Bantam days, back in the CBHL, I ran that shit. But he came back from injury in the matchup against Calgary, had 3 points on all Oilers, 3 goals to win the game. So obviously Leon doing Leon things. Let me ask you guys this. Whitney said after that game, he said, "I don't care what you think, Leon Draisaitl is the Hart Trophy winner this season." And there were a lot of Avalanche fans who were putting up a fuss about that. If you had to pick between McKinnon or Leon for the Hart Trophy, who you picking? Because they're dead even in pretty much everything.
That is a good question. And we know Avs fans do tend to get very upset when their baby boy doesn't get attention.
Yeah. I don't know. That's actually a really hard one.
My accidental future is screaming for Nate to take the scoring title here.
Forgot
It's
about
still
that.
so funny.
Yeah, it's one of the smartest bets I ever made, and I didn't
If
even need to
that
make
hits,
it.
that's the greatest future bet of all time.
It's so funny.
Yeah, I really need that. But seriously, who would you take? I mean, there's really not a wrong answer.
I'm gonna go McKinnon still, and it's probably a little bit irrational of me to say this, but it's because Leon plays with Connor. Like
Right.
you take McKinnon out of the Avs, it's not like they've got Landy anymore. It's like I know they've got Natchez, but like, come on, let's be real.
And
Nathan
McCarr,
Yeah.
McKinnon's
yeah.
the engine and heartbeat of that team.
I kind of agree with Nick.
I'm also in that school of thought. Obviously, I'm a little biased here, but like you think about the Avs at the start of the season and the goaltending debacle, and like
Yep. Yep.
Nate was
Yeah.
just carrying that team. Uh,
100%.
People forget just because they made some good deadline moves here. And then we will finish off the news segment with yet another coach blasting a player, this time coming from the evergreen, so nice world of Long Island. Patrick Waugh blasted Anthony Duclair after their game the other day. This is a direct quote. He was god awful. He had a bad game, and that's why I didn't play him a lot. He's lucky to be in the lineup. Sorry if I lose it on him, but that's how I feel. He's not skating. He's not competing. He's not moving his feet. He's not playing up to what we expect from him. It's an effort thing. Didn't really mince his words there.
No.
No, not at all. And I feel like people forget this coaching relationship goes back to junior. I think they went to the Memorial Cup together when he was playing with the
I did
Quebec
not even
Rempart.
think about that. Wow.
I'm pretty sure I remember that from when he signed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I'm pretty sure one former or current friend of the program, Zach Fucali, was their goalie one year.
Oh wow.
I think that honestly makes it make even more sense. It's like a coach who's familiar with how good a player can be, and so he's pissed that that's not what he's getting right now. It's like
Right.
it's tough to hear your coach say that, but also I think it comes from a place of love because he knows how good the Duke can be when he's playing up to his potential.
It's a good
Y-
point.
Yeah, this is a pretty awful season for Duclair.
Yeah,
I'm looking at his career stats right now. It's pretty damn close to his worst career season
He
ever.
yeah,
did miss a lot of time. I think he missed like 40 plus games this year or something.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's played in 44,
Oh, okay.
and he has 7 goals.
yeah,
Ugh, yikes.
His worst career season was in 16-17 playing with Arizona, where he only had 5 goals in 58 games.
yeah.
So just not great stuff right there. But that's the Islanders in a nutshell, I feel like.
I
Just
mean, they gave him 4 years. That's the Islanders in a nutshell.
this is also true.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to move on to some college hockey chatter. But before we do, a reminder this segment is brought to you by Prop Trackr, your home for player prop research and finding outlier bets for NHL, NBA, NFL, and more. Once you find a bet you like, start tracking it to get notified on its progress, like shots, rebounds, home runs, singles, doubles. Baseball season is back, fellas. Get on Prop Trackr right now. It will be your one-stop shop for all prop bets. Go to proptrackrapp.com/emptybetters to try a free month on us, or you can click on the link in our bio and it will take you there directly. All righty. So, what should we talk about first, Nick? You want to talk about the college signings to the pros, or you want to talk Frozen Four?
I'll do anything to not talk about Frozen Four. So let's go with the college signings.
Tee it
Yeah,
off.
there's going to be some big ones. Obviously, some A-list names that are prospects coming up to their clubs right now. We have to start with the St. Louis Blues, as their fans have reminded us every day in TikTok since we posted that video about their like sweaters or about them being like, what was it, like winning six in a row. They have let us know how many wins they have in a row every single day on the hour for 24 hours. We are well aware that you have won 10 games in a row. I know that's a first for this year, so just stay with us. So we're going to give you some love here. Jimmy Snuggerud is a huge ad for this team. You are getting an NHL level shot, probably a top five shot on your team already. That dude is a gamer. That dude is an absolute warrior and will bleed for whatever crest is on the front of his sweater. So, um, the one goal I'll never forget of his was not this most recent World Juniors, but the one that the U.S. won in Sweden 2 years ago. He had like a one timer from like Ovi's office. I swear it's the hardest one timer I've ever seen or heard in my life because the ping that this thing made when it hit the back bar was the most high pitched like ding I've ever heard. I'll have to find the video and insert it here, but I mean, it's just insane. He's such a great player. I wish he was a cap. I mean, I'd kill for that guy in a heartbeat. But that's a big one. Let's go over to Colorado. They signed brother of Cale Makar. They got Taylor Makar out of Maine. He's going to be on a tryout with the Colorado Eagles down in the AHL for the rest of the year. Chicago, they get two guys out of Minnesota. They got Oliver Moore and Sam Rizzel. Oliver Moore is hilarious. I think he's going to be a great personality in the NHL. The Preds got another gopher. They signed Matthew Wood. Don't really like this one at all. The Rangers signed Gabe Perreault out of BC. I mean, we know what this guy can do. He can do it with the setup role. He can do it with the finishing role. He is just a point producing machine. So as a Caps fan, I think I kind of hate that for the Rags. But moving on to the Caps, they did sign Michigan State defenseman David Gucciardi. He will be on a tryout with the Hershey Bears for the next couple weeks. And then obviously the big one that I feel like we need to dive into pretty deep here is Ryan Leonard. So obviously he signed, he made his NHL debut last night in Boston in front of his, the team I'm assuming he grew up worshiping and his entire, BC team is there to cheer him on and was just an amazing scene. I think he looked really good out there in his NHL debut. Had a great open ice hit. So yeah, it was great to see him. And I think I said this to you guys in our group chat. It was like, when was the last time we were this excited for a Caps player to make their debut?
Yeah, I mean, one, I can't remember a time ever, and two, I'm pretty sure Max sent like something on Twitter where I think it was Carl Alsner was the last top 10 pick for the Capitals to make a debut.
That's crazy.
Yep. Yes, he was.
Pretty insane. Uh, this is completely like not relevant to anything, but just an observation. I always find it interesting when there's brothers in sports who like somehow are polar opposites. Taylor Makar does not play defense, and he also shoots left-handed, which is just
Correct.
like, how? Why does this happen? But that's neither here nor there.
That is interesting.
I'll let you guys talk about Leonard. I want to talk about Gabe Perreault for a second. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. The Rangers are in code red, must make playoffs. Montreal is dusting the Panthers in back-to-back games. And for all intents and purposes, I'm seeing Rangers fans throw their hands up, which literally never happens. They need to go rogue these last 6 or 7 games that they have left. They have the fourth hardest schedule remaining in the NHL, while Montreal has the second easiest. So the odds are stacked against them. I would love to see how they use Gabe Perreault in this, final stretch. I think he could maybe be a dark horse for them to kind of bring them back to playoff aspirations, but they got to do something. And this kid maybe could be the juice they need.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's something special going on in Montreal right now.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you guys heard the Bell Center the other night when Suzuki scored with like time expiring, but that's a different level of noise right there.
Yeah, it makes me a little nervous, honestly.
Same.
They're horny. That like they're
No,
just
that's
horny
Yeah.
yeah,
for
that's
Yeah.
that's exactly what's going
they're
on.
just horny, dude. Like the French are horny. They want
Yep.
playoff hockey.
Right.
Yeah.
I was
Can't blame
thinking
them.
about that. Like, I think if I'm the Caps, not to like change the subject because we still got to talk Frozen Four, I think I'd rather play the Rangers than Montreal now in a weird, fucked up way.
I can't decide. I mean, the thing is, there's really no good option. Like that's just there's no team you want to play. Like you can
It's fair.
convince
Right.
yourself all you want that one's going to be easier than the other, but it's going to be a dogfight no
I
matter what.
would
So
gladly take the Devils over either of those two teams.
same, absolutely. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. In your guys' dreams, I bet. Yes.
Right,
It's kind of
right.
funny because like Jack Hughes out, but they're still floating. But I'll let you guys talk about Leonard. I know all the Caps fans listening want to hear about that.
Yeah, he's playing again right now as we speak against the Canes. I love that they're getting him right into the action with like a back to back like that, especially when you're used to a college schedule. I think it's a really good idea to just kind of like throw him into the fire a little bit and get him as much reps as possible. Also just like there's not that many games left, so the more games he plays, the more shifts he plays, the quicker he might be able to actually pick up on the system, kind of start contributing in the way that he wants to and the way we know he can. So I'm not expecting anything crazy numbers wise from him, like just to finish out the year here, but I think personality wise, it's very clear he fits right in with the guys. I saw somebody tweet a picture of like Wilson and Leonard like just on the ice laughing with each other. And it was like, I don't think the league is ready for these two guys to terrorize the NHL for the next like 5 years. That just made me so happy. I'm so fired up for that era of Caps hockey, and it's
Dude,
pretty much
like
here.
if you're lining up against the Washington Capitals and you're looking over at the bench and you see Protus, Ovechkin, Chikrin, Wilson, Leonard, Dubois, like those are some big boys and big boys that like to throw their weight around.
Yeah, they're kind of like old school LA Kings, like big body, bully playoff hockey. Like remember those cup teams where they just had like, absolute nail guns in there. They had like Penner and Kopitar and Brown and Doughty and like all these guys who would just
Jeff
throw.
Schultz.
Yeah, or like Jeff Carter, like all these big bodies who just lay into people. Yeah, Caps are a big team. Uh Nick, Frozen Four, why don't you preview for us and give us some picks here?
Okay. Yeah. So obviously didn't go well for Sparty. That was painful. I'm not gonna lie. The only good news out of them getting bounced by Cornell is it has been announced that guess what, Red Wings fans, your goalie problem's gonna have to wait another year because Trey Augustine's going back to East Lansing, baby.
So funny.
I can't wait. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh man.
Yeah, but Frozen 4, honestly, you really can't say a bad thing about either of, or any of these four teams. They all deserve to be there. Western Michigan versus Denver is going to be an unbelievable game. They're just going to beat the living hell out of each other. And I think Zeev Buium for Denver is making an argument for being the best player currently not in the National Hockey League.
He's a Minnesota Wild prospect, I
He
believe,
is.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, I mean,
That's
that's
something
huge.
exciting for them
Exactly.
for
That's
once.
something they need. And then BU against Penn State. And Penn State's legit, guys. It pains me to say that because I despise them, their alumni, and that fan base in every way possible. They are the most insufferable fans on planet Earth, but goddamn, that team is electric and they are good. I think them versus BU, that game could be like a 6-5, like absolute like double OT barn burner. It has that feeling about it. So those games on Thursday, April 10th will be awesome. They're all going to be at the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, and then the national championship will be on Saturday, April 12th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Should be a good one.
Real quick, we don't have to dive too much, but Nick, I want to pick your brain. We got Denver, Western Michigan. Denver is at -135, Western Michigan at +105. These are coming from DraftKings. Any initial thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard not to lean Denver just with all the success they have. Their coaching staff, I think you could probably say, is the best in college hockey right now. They have the most national championships of any college hockey program out there. I would not be shocked if they added another one this year, but
It's tough to bet against them.
it really is. But don't sleep on Western. They low-key had the best offense in college hockey all year. No one's talking about that. And they, I know this doesn't really necessarily matter right now, but they've got the best goalie tandem in college hockey. That 1-2 punch is pretty damn elite.
And then we've got Penn State, BU, Penn State at +120, BU at -155.
I'd jump on Penn State now, ride the hot hand. They're cruising. They've got something going in that room. I think they got a little bit pissed off that, maybe Aiden Fink was a little bit, wasn't too high up the Hobie Baker rating. So, yeah, I'd have to go with the Lions at this point.
I'm with it. I'm with it. Should be a fun Frozen Four. And like Nick said, the only thing that I hate about this, you got to wait a week, Thursday, April 10th. Kind of sucks. But anyways,
Oh well, what are you gonna do?
that will conclude our college hockey chatter. And now for the last segment of the episode, we're going to talk a little bit of playoff race. But first off, Nick told us before the episode, he said, guys, I got something brewing about the Bruins.
I
So we're
do.
going to let you take the floor.
Yeah. So Boston has lost 9 in a row. They lost to the Caps last night. They put up a fight, but they lost. They have fallen to last in the Eastern Conference. They are now worse officially than the Buffalo Sabres. And that is a team that has not made the postseason since a certain guy with 3 names in the Middle East was still alive and Snapchat was not a thing yet. Uh, Boston has made the postseason the last 8 years in a row. In
Wait, I'm
20,
sorry. Let me interrupt you for a second. No one's ever taken a Snapchat at a Sabres playoff game.
nope.
That's hilarious. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. Um, Boston has made the postseason the last 8 years. They went to the Stanley Cup final in 2019. They were one game away, arguably one period away from winning the Stanley Cup over the St. Louis Blues in 2019. And in the span of like a month and a half around the trade deadline, they basically just lit their entire team on fire. They got rid of their captain, probably their best player this year. And don't kill me. I'm sorry, he was playing better than Pasta anyway. So that's just calling it like I see it. How is everyone in that organization not going to lose their job this summer? Sweeney needs to go. How Cam Neely is still your president is beyond me. You, as a city, need to let go of this obsession with Cam Neely. I don't get it. I understand he was a fan favorite and a great player. So was Dale Hunter, and he was a terrible coach for the Washington Capitals.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, it's
Like,
questionable for sure. And
if
they,
I'm Pasta or if I'm McAvoy, like,
yeah,
to use the slap shot meme, it's like trade me right fucking now. Like get me out of here.
I would bet there's some type of management change that's made this offseason. The thing that's weird about the Bruins is like they have the three like cornerstones you want. They got a goalie, they got an A1
Right.
defenseman, and they've got a star forward. But everything other than that, like the Lindholm deal is one thing I just look at. I'm like, man, did that really backfire? Like
Yep.
nothing about that has worked out whatsoever this year.
They
Right.
also like to start yesterday's game when they're scrolling all the lines across the like top of the screen. Like, holy shit, who are some of these guys? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they're showing the third line, and I'm like, that's got to be the fourth line. And then another one comes up after that. I'm like, there's more random guys after that. Holy shit. And the same with the D pairings. I look away for a sec and I see two guys up there. I'm like, okay, that's got to be the third pairing. And then here comes two more guys I've never heard of. And I'm just like in awe about who these guys are that play for the Boston Bruins right now. Insane.
I mean, they do have like Swayman's not a bad goaltender, but like the guy you got rid of is going to the postseason this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think they chose the right one based on the circumstances and how good he played last postseason against Toronto. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like I'm looking at their lineup now because I just wanted to see what Mac was talking about, and he's completely right. There's the same amount of names on the forward core that I know and don't know, which is just nuts. I mean, some of these guys sound like NHL creative character default settings, but
Exactly. That's the exact vibes.
yeah, dead last in the East. Also, I think I read, Nick, that not only was Snapchat the last thing I was like for a Sabres playoff game, but it was like the same year Osama bin Laden got killed or
Yeah,
something like
that's who I
that.
was referencing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus. Pretty wild. Yeah,
Yeah.
tough in Beantown.
My thing with the Bruins, it's like it almost feels like they're tanking, but it's not a year where it's like you've got like Bedard, like Gavin McKenna's not going to be draft eligible until 26. Like why are we tanking now? It just unless they know
I don't
something
know.
I don't, but it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I don't I can't put that one together, but it's looking rough in Boston. The Islanders also, they've lost six in a row. Kind of talked about Waugh and Duclair earlier. And then as Nick said, St. Louis on a 10-game heater. Man, that is not the team I want to play going into playoffs right now. I'd be shitting myself if I was, who would they play if the playoffs started today? If I'm Vegas, oh, that'd be a hell of a series, man.
Give me the Blues.
I don't know. The Knights are pretty hot themselves, by the way. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10, and Jack Eichel has like I think I read he has like 14 points in his last six games. He's fucking tearing it up.
He's a machine, but Binner off of a 10-game win streak. Imagine if they just rolled into the postseason with that.
That series would be awesome. And a
Yeah.
little Petrangelo against his old team.
Ooh,
I would
good
love that
point.
storyline.
Do the
Um,
Knights still have Barbashev?
do the Knights still have Barbashev?
Yeah, or is he somewhere else now?
They still have him. He got
Okay,
signed
because
to a
he was a Blue too, right?
yes, he was. I'm gonna check myself just to be sure, but yeah, I'm pretty certain. Yes, he's on the Vegas Gold. Yeah, he signed a 5x5, I think.
That's right.
Uh, Funny enough, the two teams who were involved in the Rantanen deal are both pretty hot. So, of course, Dallas has won six in a row, and then the Hurricanes are 8-2 in their last 10. I mean, all of a sudden, Carolina, I've been my phone's gotten blown up so much about this. It was Rantanen that was the locker room cancer. It was Rantanen that was the distraction. It was Rantanen who needed to go. And now the Hurricanes are back and they are contending.
That's
Yeah,
kind of like saying like okay, that's like getting called in to a meeting with your boss, right? And let's say you've worked this job for 5 years and you've been shit at it for 4 of those years and you just tried heroin last weekend for the first time, but you're swearing to never do it again, right? And you're trying to tell your boss that the reason you sucked at your job for the last 4 years is because you just tried heroin last weekend.
What a what a pull.
oh, that's incredible.
What a pull. Can we clip that?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I mean, do you guys follow?
Oh,
I'm picking up what you're
Yeah,
putting down, and you're not wrong.
yeah.
Yeah.
oh man, that's too good. That's too good.
Like, how was Rantanen the problem 2 years ago? You know
I
what I
I
mean?
think
Like,
a better way to put it would be Rantanen leaving was you clicking the refresh button on like your browser to like just cycle everything through, bring everyone back down to
right.
earth, but he
Okay.
was not a sleeper agent sent over by the Colorado Avalanche to
Yeah.
destroy your team from the inside out.
Right. Right.
It sucks because Carolina is 100% going to play Jersey in round one, and I pretty much believe they're going to smoke them. I would be pretty stunned
Yeah,
if,
I feel like that's not going to be a good series at all.
Canes in four.
yeah.
Even if that was like going to be a closer series, it's just not even a fun matchup. That's boring as shit.
It
It
is very
does it
boring.
does kind of make me mad that Jersey basically can't fall out of the playoffs right now.
It sucks because they're not going to be able to do anything.
Right.
Yeah, and then the Caps are going to get Montreal, where it's like, ooh, let's see what
Yeah,
goes here.
it's spicier for
Right.
sure.
I think there's going to be a situation here where the Caps are going to have to play the Hurricanes, and then we're really going to get our popcorn ready for that one.
Well,
We might
good
have
because they're shit pumping us right
I
now.
was gonna
So
say it is not
that's
going well
great.
right now, so yeah, that'll be fun.
real quick as we're talking about standings and playoff races. So Ottawa, they're going to be in, and then Montreal, Columbus, and New York. It's basically a three-way race for that last spot. Um, it looks like Columbus has a game in hand on those teams. Meanwhile, Canadians have a 2-point lead.
I know we've all been seeing the memes about how none of these teams are like playing super well at the moment, and they're all like, "No, you make the playoffs. No, you make the playoffs." Kind of like last year, but just to really like hone in on this for a second, the Canadians, the Blue Jackets, the Rangers, the Red Wings, and the Islanders, arguably all of them still kind of in the hunt there. All five of those teams in their last 10 games, none of them have even won five of their last 10 games.
That's
None.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, it's like limping, and it sucks because, I mean, granted, the Penguins suck too. Don't get me wrong, but they're just starting to like play a little bit better. They got McGroarty called back up. Like, I just wish, I
Yeah.
wish, I wish,
Yep.
but it's not happening. And then out west, it's over.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah, you're not
It's done.
wrong.
And that's kind of what happened last year too, isn't it? I feel like this is always how it goes. The West figures it out with like 10 games left and it kind of gets wrapped up with a bow. And the East is just a freaking dog fight, or not even a dog fight. It's like a freaking tortoise fight or something
Yeah,
because
you just have to wait for the Islanders to pull their goalie with the game tied.
right, exactly.
Yeah, we're gonna know all the matchups. I would predict in a week. I mean, the NHL season has 2 weeks left. I bet you we know all the matchups probably within a week, except maybe that East wild card. But
Yeah.
we're gonna get Edmonton and LA again, which is gonna be just awesome because this is gonna be the fourth year in a row, and we're all gonna pick LA because we're all gonna say they're due, and we're all gonna say they're better, and somehow the Oilers are probably gonna pull it out of
Yeah.
their ass
They'll
again,
win
and we're
in
gonna be
six.
like,
Yeah.
and like how? How does that work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I the only thing I could look at in the West is like, is there a world where St. Louis jumps Colorado and all of a sudden Colorado doesn't have to get Dallas in round one and instead they get Vegas?
I think the Avs would really have to mail in like the last couple games here for
Yeah.
that to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out. But do you guys have any other things you want to say about the standings or playoff race?
No, I think that's it.
Not at the moment.
And you know what's funny? Last thing I'll say, like kind of, getting text messages like, "Oh, this is the year for Tampa." Like no one's really talking about them, and if they are, it's like as if they're a dark horse, but they're sick
Right.
and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And Florida's too physical, and the Caps are winning the presidents, and Carolina this and blah blah blah. Nobody, nobody that I have seen on the internet is saying that Toronto has a chance in hell of doing anything, which is probably true, but it's just funny to me
It is
because
funny.
they're second in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that Toronto could do anything?
The problem
No,
is
man.
it's like I don't necessarily think the Leafs are a bad team, and I think given the right matchup, they could, or series of matchups, they could have a decent playoff run. But the problem is when you look at the other two teams that are in the top three of that Atlantic division, you've got the Panthers and you've got the Lightning, and there's just no way in hell that the Toronto Maple Leafs can get through either of those teams this year.
Well, they're also probably in the first round going to play the Lightning or the Senators.
Right.
Like that, I don't want either of that if I'm them. So
Right.
I think the Senators Leaf series would be
it would be
must-watch TV.
electric.
I
Oh,
think that'd be
that's
That would be
fucking
so
awesome.
sick.
we
Yes.
need that.
Well, that's why
Yeah.
that's why I've been saying go Toronto. We need them to win
Right.
against the Panthers, win that division, so we get the Battle of Florida and we get the Battle of
Ontario.
Canada. Yeah, Ontario.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be sick. All right, that concludes the episode, but we're going to end it with a quick little trivia. Nothing too crazy here for you guys, but something I saw on the interweb and thought was pretty interesting. Not a trick question, but I'm just interested to see what you guys, what your first answer is to this. Since February 1st of this season, can you tell me what player leads the league since February 1st with the most games with a point? Not the most
Ooh,
points, but the most games played with a
with at
point
least a point.
since February 1.
It's February 1st, the last 2 months essentially.
Bonus bucks if you get the top three, but I'm only asking for the top one.
Leon?
It is not Leon. Little injury in there.
Oh, that's right.
Dubois?
No, not that. Not as good as you're thinking he is.
Okay, okay.
Eichel?
That's a great guess,
That's
but
a good
no.
one. Western Conference or Eastern?
The leader is Western.
Okay. I mean, is it obvious? Like,
I would not say it's obvious,
so
but
it's
it's
not
not a
Nate Mac or
surprise.
something like that.
No, but it's not a surprise, but it's not blatantly obvious.
Is it somebody on Dallas?
It is not.
Okay, never mind.
Adrian Kempe?
That is an awesome guess,
That's a
but
very
no,
good guess. Um, That's a good question.
Is this player on the Winnipeg Jets?
he is not.
Don't tell me it's like no, it can't be like Celebrini or some shit like that.
No, their team's too bad.
Right. Um,
It's
Is
a
it
good
Mar
question.
is it Marty Necas?
Great guess, but no.
is he a forward or defenseman?
He's a forward.
No.
Dylan Holloway.
Good guess, but no.
Mm,
God damn.
You're kind of on the right track though.
Okay. Bob
Can't be.
Tom?
Robert Thomas.
Wow.
He has
There you
tw
go.
he has 21 games with a point since February 1st, which leads the NHL
Damn.
in that time span.
Bobby
I
Tommy.
want
All right.
no part of that St. Louis team.
No.
What's
Second place.
crazy is like I don't like their team. I don't think
It
I
doesn't
don't
make sense.
no. I look at the team, I'm like, I don't like this at all. And then
Really?
they're just really good.
I don't mind it. I mean,
I don't know. I don't get it.
second place is it's a two-way tie for second place. Matthews and Kucherov. So that kind of
Okay.
puts into perspective the names
Yeah.
that he's ahead of.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, 21 games with a
How
point
about
since
that?
Feb 1.
That's wild.
St. Louis is rolling, fellas.
They are. Hats off to them, man. They're having a great back half of this year,
Yeah.
which, if you know your history, should scare a lot of people.
That's sketchy.
All right, well, that concludes episode 255. Any final notes before we wrap up here?
Nope, all good. Go Caps. Let's try and fix this disaster of a hockey game.
We will see everyone on Sunday at Don't Know Tavern. Might be the goal record, although at the pace I'm hearing these live updates at, perhaps not. But we will see you next week in the next episode.